I was born with 2 vaginas, 2 uteruses, and 2 cervixes. There was no join from my mouth to my stomach, and that instead my food pipe was connected into my air pipe going into my lungs. Just a disaster, to be honest. I've been to the hospital more than 150 times, and I've had over 30 surgeries. I'm Anya, I'm 25 years old, and I have VACTERL association. When I was born, they took a Polaroid photo of me. They thought that I was going to die, and they thought it was the only memory that my parents would have of me. What they noticed was that I had a cloaca, which is one pelvic opening. Going into my cloaca, I had 2 vaginas, so duplicated reproductive organs. Is obviously not functional. So I was taken at 5 hours old over to the Children's Hospital to have surgery. For my parents, having their baby taken away immediately, it was really hard for both of them. I think my parents had so many fears that not only would I not survive, but if I did, I'd be destined to have a really sad life. So VACTERL association is an acronym that stands for vertebral, anal, cardiac, tracheoesophageal, which is food pipe and air pipe, renal and limb abnormalities. I had a single kidney, a single pelvic opening, no tailbone. I had to have my food pipe and my air pipe reconstructed, and also a hole in my heart. I have all apart from the limb. The doctors weren't able to tell my parents what the cause was at all. It's not genetic. There are some theories that say that there's like a pause in the development when the baby is forming, and that kind of explains why there are all these different bodily systems that aren't really formed the way that they should. I had a pelvic reconstruction of all 3 openings, and part of that was a reconstruction of my bowel. I also don't have nerves or muscles to let me know when I need to go to the bathroom or to help me push when I need to go to the bathroom. So I have, lifelong incurable bowel incontinence because of that reconstruction. As a child, I wanted to embrace life while I had the opportunity to. I was naughty, I was cheeky. In childcare, they weren't very accepting of my health. So I was bouncing around a lot of childcares and they were kind of kicking me out. Going into primary school, I ended up being able to, self-manage enough, and the school would just have to let me go home sick or take time off. I managed my bowel incontinence with this homemade enema that I would use that would basically give me some certainty that I wouldn't have any accidents for usually about a day. Going into high school, this became more challenging. I remember I had, incidents at like cross countries and sports carnivals. I let the school know that I wasn't well, but I never really understood that what I experienced was chronic illness or a disability. It was always this rare condition and always really vague. I never really felt that I was disabled enough to get help. Halfway through grade 11, I got really sick. I wasn't able to finish high school. I wasn't part of graduation. I never had a school formal. I had worked so hard, not only me, but my doctors, my teachers, to get me to that point. And then suddenly it was all gone. Being a high school dropout, that was a big source of shame for me for such a long time. In that year, I developed a very serious fascination and interest with the modelling industry, and I decided that it was something that I really wanted to do. I met with a modelling agency. They asked if I had any scars. I said yes. They then said I wouldn't be able to book any jobs because they're not acceptable in this industry. So I was around 15, 16 at the time of needing to leave high school and getting rejected by this modelling agency. And it was kind of so you're not smart and you're not beautiful either. So good luck with your future. So it was just not a good time. I think how I've really coped with a lot of these tough times is through a lot of introspection. I've tried to think of it as, it's giving me a perspective that I can use to relate to other people or to respond from a place of empathy. It was about a year later that I had a breakthrough with modelling. When I started shooting, I was showing my scars very, very quickly. Years later, I think I've modelled in a bikini or lingerie more times than I can count. I'm so proud of how well my body's adapted. My scars are a sign of that. I do fear having a bowel accident on shoots and when I'm modelling. It is definitely something that's always in the back of my mind. I had to have a good talking to of myself. I can't feel embarrassed about this anymore. And at the end of the day, it's happened before and it's life. We can't keep feeling shame about things that we can't control, and ultimately this is something that I can't control. These days, I'm a disability advocate. Most disabilities are actually invisible. I'm probably on the more severe end of VACTERL, which is quite surprising looking at me. I look relatively okay. And it's only really been in the past few years that I've actually felt like I can identify as disabled. I think it's really important to acknowledge what disability actually means and that it encompasses a lot of different people. I was fortunate to pursue a grade 11-12 equivalent, and during COVID, I graduated from an MBA. I feel really excited for the future. I would love to be a mum myself one day. Whether or not I can have them in my own body is another question. Because I have the 2 uteruses, they say that they're like half strength. So carrying a baby full term is unlikely, but I have frozen my eggs, so we will find out. If you're looking for any support, please see the links in the comments.